You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files with hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode. Now, on to our show.
Something that would be in the context of the supernatural.
We describe it as being a gray, silver-looking, upright bipedal creature, dragging a deer out of that cave and going up the hill.
Where he goes, hey, I got a question for you. He goes, do you believe in demons?
And it takes one big step and vanishes. I'm like, oh my God, that was a Bigfoot.
And look at these pictures of this white creature.
Something 7'3" to 8 foot tall.
Right.
That, let's say it like.
And I'll tell you right now, if this was a bear, and this bear was standing on his hind legs, and he was running like a man, no, this was no bear.
Now, when it stood up, that's when I knew it was a dog man.
Welcome back, guys, to the Kentucky X-Files. Today we're going to be reading some emails, and I think they're mostly about the big guy or some parent. I know, we try to not to read them before we start. We want to have our reactions on the show, and I think we've said that before. So, yeah. But I just wanted to, before we got into it, I just wanted to pay some respects. Last night my uncle Jack passed away. He had some complications with COVID and other stuff. So I just wanted to show some respect. He was a great man. I will truly miss that man. And I wanted to say, didn't he always say he's one of the last of the gunslingers to him, Jack.
Jesus.
Cool.
Hell yeah. I know we said it before, but we're sorry for the loss, and
Definitely.
you sound like a pretty amazing man. You told us a little bit about him, and
Dude, he was an outlaw. He built bikes. The most precious moment I had with him was when I was young. He put me in, he had a sidecar.
yeah,
And I remember we went around this corner and it picked up, and we never told my mom. So hopefully my mom never hears this. 'Cause I just remember, I was scared shitless, but laughing my ass off.
yeah, it's awesome.
So,
Uncles are great for that stuff.
Yep.
but yeah, I just wanted to pay respects and send my love to my aunt. So,
I've always told you that as far as the afterlife and that goes, to me it's not it's no mystery.
Dude, when I heard it, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, I could picture in my head that he's just working on one of those bikes.
I think that the ones we love, they keep on doing what they did here, and they get better at it, and they keep pouring themselves into it, and they build that world,
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that you take some comfort from that I fully believe that he's continuing to do what he loves, and he hasn't forgotten anything.
Oh, yeah.
So what little we know about him, and what quite a bit that you know about the man, may he never be forgotten here either. Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, sorry for the little downer there, but I just, like I said, I just wanted to pay my respects.
Hell yeah.
Respects.
Absolutely. Man, oh man, the emails. You guys out there. I asked for emails. I asked for you to reach out to us, and you did big time. Actually though, before we get into the emails, there's one special thing I wanted to do. So for us, I'm going to play it here, but in the episode, you guys are going to hear the actual recording. So, Mr. Sean Scott has sent us a voice message. I'm going to play it right now, so here you go.
I just wanted to say thanks for all the work you put into your podcast. I've been here since the beginning of season 1, and I hope to be here at the end of season 25. Thanks again, guys.
That's awesome.
Pretty awesome, man. And buddy, we appreciate it. Holy crap.
Yeah.
You have no idea what a huge smile was on our faces getting to hear that. And a lot of you guys have expressed how important the show has become to you, and you know how it's making your week better, it's making your day better. You feel like you're part of the conversation. You feel like you're right here with us, and you are. And I was just trying to put it into words before we started recording this, that it's surreal to me that something this small has become something like this, and that it's actually important to somebody, you know, and that means a lot. So thank you guys out there. And, you know, don't ever stop reaching out. You know, it can be for anything. You know, if you need an ear, you know, you want to get something off your chest, you got an opinion about something, send it in, you know. It don't matter. If you think we are sucking at something, we could be better, you know, criticize us. You know, you don't have to coddle us so much. We're big boys. So emails, let's see what we got. We got a bunch. We do have some here that seem like they might be big guy related, but the first one I got actually, I don't think it is. Let's see here. All right, this one's from this guy. I gotta reach. I'm gonna disclaimer real quick. I want to say how manly this guy's name is. Just, I don't know what else to say. The guy's name is Dennis Gross, and I'm just really impressed. And he says, about a month ago, me and my brother was outside in the backyard at my mother's. That's where we live too, and crap. I'm gonna have to start that over. I just fucked it up somehow. So Dennis writes, about a month ago, me and my brother was outside in the backyard at my mother's. That's where we live too. Well, we've always been avid sky watchers of the night. Well, one night I was looking up towards the Dipper. Well, out of my right eye, I noticed these little pointers, like they wouldn't. I don't know how to explain it, but it was a bunch of them traveling in a straight line, and then they would suddenly stop and make a left turn immediately, and then take off in another direction. But everyone traveling in the same direction. I've always seen the big, bright yellow light about 4 years ago. Oh, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I've also seen a big, bright yellow light about 4 years ago in the sky in January at about 11:30 at night. And instead of it going out like it feathered out like it was going behind a series of clouds. But that's all I really got to say about it. It's definitely interesting. At first, I almost thought he was talking about Starlink when he said he saw the lights traveling in a straight line, but Starlink isn't known for making crazy left turns in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah.
No, yeah, it definitely has a arc.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it? How many like satellites are in that group? I thought it was like 3 or something.
There's actually a good little group of them.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So there's more than that. Okay.
And if you ever see them, they're hauling ass.
Just hauling.
It is weird to see.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, one morning, maybe a couple months ago, I was going to work, and I think I saw them. Because I saw these crazy lights like hauling ass, across the sky, and I'm like, dude, I saw a UFO. It got me. And then the more I started thinking about it, I was like, wait a minute. So I brought up the Starlink map. It'll tell you where they're going to be. And I think I might have seen them.
That's cool. Have you seen the Starlink launches?
No, I haven't seen that.
Boy, that is a wild video.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, you do. Because what's really cool is there's all kinds of videos from different angles of the launch.
Yeah.
But it also stemmed a lot of UFO sightings from
Oh,
other states, not realizing Starlink was launching the next state over. And you just see the jellyfish light going through the sky. But it's incredible the amount of light that thing put off as it was being launched.
That's amazing. I think Starlink is pretty neat. I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to look up and see something that mankind made,
Right.
But I'm, I think I might have seen it, so I think it rules out the possibility that I may have seen a UFO that morning. What do we got next here? Brittany. Brittany's often on the YouTube channel. She comments quite a bit, and that's actually what this is pertaining to. It says here, hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the holiday this past week. This is not an encounter story, so I hope it's okay. Number 1, it bothers me that my comment got deleted twice. I don't understand why YouTube doesn't want CERN, Kern, being mentioned. I honestly don't know enough to tell you what it actually is, and I don't want to misdirect anyone, but I encourage you all to look into it and try to do it on a lesser, non-biased platform if that's possible. This is in relation to the portals subject, of course. And number 2, why would Bigfoot have to follow the rules of nature? As in, what about a ghost? They don't exactly follow the rules of nature. I'm right alongside you guys in search for the answer. That's all this is. I love how you all are so open to all discussions. You guys have a great show. Thank you so much, Brittany.
I think it's in reference to me always saying that if he's on Earth, he's going to follow the rules of Earth. I see her point. I do. But I also would say that maybe ghosts, if they're out there, do follow the rules of nature.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
If they're an energy or a mist, they're going to act like an energy or a mist.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't think the theory is so out there because we know that in prehistory that there was larger upright hominids walking around. Yeah, and we know that people see ghosts. So, right. I even threw this idea at my wife the other day was, because I was like, there's something to this. There's some merit to this. What if a thing dies and it releases an energy that we call a spirit? What if over millions of years of being gone, let's just say millions of years of being gone, what if a semi-intelligent or even, whatever intelligent, maybe it's, really smart, I don't know, but what if eventually it begins to understand how to pull matter to itself again? Energy seems to attract matter. Matter attracts gravity. Well, fundamentally speaking, that's how you make something physical. So what if over time a spirit like that could possibly figure out a way to make itself, semi-physical? And I'm just saying, Brittany, I don't know, but I think there's some merit to what she has to say.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I had a weird weird thought a couple of days ago because I watched. I don't know if you guys ever seen the movie with Jamie Lee Curtis. It's called Virus. They find this old broken down ship. It's with William Baldwin and. It
sounds familiar. I just can't think of it offhand.
Well, apparently
I've never seen it.
It's just Russian or German. Yeah, I think it's Russian ship. It get they're transmitting between their space station, and it's a boat, high-tech boat with satellite dishes on it.
Yeah.
And there's this wave of energy that goes across it. So something hit the space station, and they filtered down to the ship, and they start there's this virus that starts building and killing the people on it. It was an organism that became digital,
oh, wow.
From that. So, but they were using, and this is the creepy part, as spare parts. They would use the bodies of the dead crew as parts for them, too, with mechanical.
Wow, I don't know how I missed that one. I don't know how this movie slipped under my radar.
Yeah, I just kept thinking is that, and even in the other movies, you've seen Cheppy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The whole soul, downloading a soul, your consciousness to,
right,
to a robot. I'm just trying to figure out when does when does your soul be like your body is not enough anymore? Like, and you're being like your body is not working anymore, but you're being like, I guess, kept alive by machines, or even if we go into the day and age of actually being like cyborgs and like replacing parts, when you replace everything and the only thing really about yourself that's you, it's basically your mind and stuff.
That's the grandfather's axe paradox.
Yeah, when is your soul, like, when are you not you anymore?
Right. Are you familiar with the grandfather's axe paradox?
I think I am, but tell it. If
Okay.
Yeah.
So if your grandfather passes away and you inherited his axe, right? You use the axe for years, and the handle breaks. So you replace the handle. And then after a while, the blade breaks. So you replace the head. Is it still your grandfather's axe?
Well, I remember that from John Dies at the End.
That was one of the intro to John Dies at the End.
Is it?
Yeah,
I've never seen that movie.
He says in the book, he says, how does he say it? He's like the following question will unlock the mysteries of the universe. But then he goes on to say, if you already know them, just skip to chapter 2. And he literally says that, this crazy monster comes in and you kill it with an axe, and then it comes back days later after you've replaced the handle or whatever, and you kill it again, but this time you notch the blade, and then you get a new blade and you put it on there, and then the first monster comes back and it looks at you and you look at it and it says, "That's the axe that killed me." And he's like, "Is he right?" And then it literally just goes into the story after that. So it's... he pretty much butchered the
actual theory.
There's another one. It's the about a ship, I believe, that after how many boards you've replaced on a ship, is it still the original?
When is it a new ship or something like that?
I know that whole thing was going around for a long time, a couple years back, where it kept kind of going around the internet, and people kept pondering the question of it, and then it brought back an old philosophy just about that, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think honestly, I think what the paradox is how long until. But to my mind is if your mind is still there, it's still your mind, and even if they downloaded you into another consciousness, it's not your consciousness. It's a copy, just like all downloads. It's a copy. So to the copy, it'll feel like continuance.
Oh yeah, it's the like clones.
Yeah,
clones don't know they're clones.
Yeah, but I don't think transference is something that's that's going to be within our ability for a long time.
Yeah, I just would just say that, like, because like if we ever got to that point, and I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is something that I feel like it's in the realm of what we're talking, like this whole podcast is about.
Yeah,
it's just theorizing, but it's just more along the lines is that. If the world is getting to be crap,
a madhouse.
Yeah, a madhouse. So we're not going to survive. Like, our bodies are not built. Excuse me, sorry. Survive half the stuff that's probably going to come our way.
No.
Thousands of years later, but I hope that scientists are wrong, that we're at the end of our evolutionary our evolution stage, so we can actually go forward.
Yeah.
Like, how what was it? You were talking about those mosquitoes that were down in that hole, but generation after generation they have to stay down there.
They're still there
because they have to, because that's the air that they breathe.
Yeah.
So I want to say that's how we would go through the years. But if it gets too bad, would we go to that far of being able to download ourselves and become machine, but conscious machines? And would we be still who we are?
I think.
Would our energy, say, if our consciousness, like our memories, everything about us moves over to this, but our body dies. If this, say that somehow this body dies, but we don't get a chance to jump to another thing.
Yeah.
Did we go to the afterlife and still, or did we?
Also, too,
Did we screw it up?
your question relies heavily on the consciousness, but we're not just a conscious being.
Well,
we are attached to our senses as well. If you take away our senses and put our consciousness in something that doesn't have those senses, that's like a recipe for insanity.
That and
Like not being able to touch or
that and whether or not you're self-aware.
Yeah. If you wake up in a robot body, okay, and you
you
can't
didn't know that?
feel anything, you can't taste anything, and you can't breathe, even though your mind is telling you you need air, I believe that you'd go into a state of almost a permanent shock where you can't breathe, you can't taste, you can't smell, you can't even hear without an artificial thing helping you. I think we've got a long, hard road to get to that, to fix those little problems, to make the consciousness work right.
I get that too. That's what I'm like. I get the whole like the dangers of doing it. I'm just saying, like, would that be an evolution stage? Would we still be us if we did that?
You know, German scientists that brought the dog back to life?
I believe so,
They
yeah.
reanimated a dog, just its head. And when I saw this, part of me was like, okay, well, I want to believe that their hearts were in the right place. They were trying to figure out, a way to beat death. I get that. We want to be immortal. But at the same time, I couldn't help but think about the dog's point of view. When he opens his eyes and he starts to react, but he doesn't have lungs anymore. He doesn't have his body. What was that few moments of possible, and I say that with a lot of salt, possible consciousness? What would that few moments be like? To me, it'd be a living hell.
Right.
You wake up, you have no body anymore. You have nothing. You're being kept alive by machines. How does your brain process that whole thing in a few moments? I believe that they got a long way.
There was a scientist that studied people at the guillotine, kind of in the same way.
Yeah.
That was curious of, like, is the head alive?
Yeah.
After it's severed and how long, and would pose questions like blink, like get them to blink, and some of the heads would react to
they
blink.
actually blink. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually read about that.
Yeah, I thought like they said like there's like a couple like not just like we're not trying to sound morbid, but like twitches like before it actually like kind of dissipates.
Yeah. And for those of you that can't see Tyler, that face was like a Jolly Rancher stuck on your back tooth.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if any of this helps you flesh out your question, Brittany. Definitely like to hear more from you.
We got way off.
But you know what? The other issue that she brings up is something that is well known to us, and we'd like to address that. Is yes, YouTube is deleting comments, and it is frustrating as all hell. There was a while back, someone had commented that they couldn't believe they found this channel and they were going to binge watch everything, and I wanted to respond to it and say, hey, we're happy to have you, and I hope you enjoy it. And YouTube deleted it. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know what it is about Kern or CERN that's so offensive, but they are deleting it. And Brittany, I tell you what, that makes me want to do a whole show just about it. So
yeah, is this my question is this the same Kern or CERN or whatever that's doing the particle collider?
It may be. I mean, I don't know, but I'm definitely going to start digging.
Yeah.
Let's see. Moving right along. Next email is someone who's written to us before. I consider him a friend of the show, not just a fan. And he recently sent this email. He said, "I've had a couple of memories come to me over the last few months that I think I've had suppressed for years. I'm not sure why they came to me, but I cannot stop thinking about them. When I was very young, I can recall being in a single wide trailer and remember hearing a loud scream outside one night and something slapping the side of it. Every few minutes it would slap or hit the outside of the house. I very distinctly remember them telling me that it was just a bobcat. So being so young, I visualized a bobcat jumping into the side of the trailer. And now I wondered why a bobcat would continue to throw himself into the side of a trailer. Then I remembered being maybe somewhere around 4 to 6 years old and visiting with some friends with my parents. They lived in a large block building that wasn't finished on the inside yet. It was way out in the sticks up in a holler. There were no windows or other doors that I remember. Then I remember something slamming or hitting the outside walls and the roof for hours, it seemed like. I don't remember any screaming or anything like that night. I recall them closing these huge hasps on the side of the door and latching them. I can remember asking who was hitting the house and one of the men telling me that it was just a booger that was mad at us, and I didn't have anything to worry about. We ended up staying there till morning, and we had never done that before. We always came home after the adults played cards or we cooked out. And I remember the location where both of these took place. I don't remember which one of those were first, but I also remember my granny would always tell me that the booger man would get me if I didn't get back in before dark. I never knew what she was talking about. I just thought it was some kind of monster, but growing up, the booger man was always a thing I worried about because I was always in the woods tromping around. Even though I didn't have a clue what it was or what it looked like, I guess I would have known it if I saw it. For some reason, these memories came back, and I've had this overwhelming feeling that I need to tell someone. At first, I wasn't sure if they were memories or what, but they kept coming back clearer and clearer. I had been thinking about other things that had happened, and those memories started coming back to me, and every day or so, I would remember another piece of them. Anyway, I keep having this feeling that I needed to tell someone that wouldn't judge me, and you guys are the ones I've told my other stories to, and I know that you guys wouldn't think I was crazy. You don't have to read this on the air, but if you want to, you can. I wasn't sending it to you all for that reason, but as long as you read it, then I'll feel like I've done what I felt like I needed to do. Just tell someone and get it off my chest. Thank you guys. Greg. I responded to Greg. I read this a while back. Me and Greg have kind of kept in touch ever since his first email into the show. I responded with, Greg, that's one hell of an email. I think it would be good to read on the show. I think the more we share, the more it might inspire others to share as well. And I do appreciate your trust. Hearing your experiences has become my life's honor, truly. Never hesitate to shoot me a message, or hell, just text me if you want. And I left him my number. He basically responded one more time with, thanks, Denny. It does feel good to tell it. I'll definitely keep your number, and if you guys decide to come down to the Land Between the Lakes anytime, let me know. And he's, in the past, he's offered, if we've ever come down to look around, he would love to be our guide, because he knows the area very well. And Greg, it's always an honor, man. And honestly, I think that your memories, the memories will come back, and they stay with you. And even when you forget them, they're always kind of right there somewhere, and something you heard or seen, it triggers them, and here they come screaming to life. You know what I mean? I think that I can't say if telling me or the guys was the right thing to do, but I can say that definitely appreciate the trust. And maybe you did have something, it's a common name for the big guy is a wood booger.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard that before.
Yeah, so,
that's more down south, though.
Yeah.
It's down south, and, maybe who knows, you know what I mean? Even the moonshiners had their own Sasquatch stories, you know what I mean? It's one of them things where we don't really know, but we've got so many experiences and eyewitnesses and legends and whatnot. I don't know, buddy.
They love messing with single wide trailers, too.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've heard so many stories of them doing stuff to the side of single wide trailers.
Yeah. I wonder why that is.
But his email actually reminded me of something that we didn't get a chance to talk about, a follow-up to the midweek mystery we did with the weird growling sound here.
Yeah.
Was what was it, 2 days later I showed you guys that a friend of mine from Covington posted on Facebook that the Covington police knocked on a door and said, "Stay inside, we're trying to trap a big cat."
Yeah.
Like, how weird is that? You know,
it is weird. And what'll happen is they'll catch it or trap it, and then the Kentucky State Wildlife will be like, "Yeah, that doesn't exist."
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't
That's
exist.
not real.
That's not real.
According to the state wildlife, the big cats are just as fake as anything else.
They're not real.
Right.
Yeah.
I was watching, or I got on there and looked, and the eastern puma or eastern mountain lion or whatever, there's been none in the state of Kentucky except for one sighting that was shot and killed. But like, I clearly remember the one that was on Channel 12 News.
Yeah.
On the 275 bridge into Wilder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And in other neighborhoods around here, like, it was here.
It was there.
I clearly remember. I mean, I'm not having a Mandela effect on this, right?
Right.
I don't remember that. 275 to Wilder?
Yeah. Yeah, but here's the thing is, I would have been 20.
I'm just saying, okay, they find that, and what's a little bit down the road in Wilder?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that gas station.
It was pretty intense. To me, it didn't sound like a cat. It sounded like I swear.
It sounded like a big dog.
It was a Rottweiler with a PA system.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there early in the fucking morning.
If we ever do make it to Land Between the Lakes, I would be honored for this dude to
absolutely
take us around and show us everything.
I think it would be great. Take the cameras along and just let him show us some of these sites.
So much stuff going on down there.
There is, and I think it would be. It's definitely worth going and seeing for ourselves. Let's see what we got here. This one's actually a little bit different because on the next episode of this show, there's a solid chance that this guy's going to be our guest. His name is John, and his email is as such. My story begins in October of 1990 while on a camping trip in West Virginia. Every morning, I got to go on a short hike, doing push-ups every 100 yards to get a good workout. Along the trail, there was an open field on my right midway through the hike. This morning, it was full of deer. It was a beautiful sight, and I decided to put in a dip, Copenhagen, right on, man, and just soak up the view. Sitting on the ground a few minutes, I heard a sound to my left, and I looked over and saw a hairy man looking at me. I jumped up and looked at him, and he was around my height of 6 foot. We stared at each other for 20 to 30 seconds. He turned to his right and walked away, looking at me most of the way. As I watched him walk away, I saw another being in the tree line that was much bigger. I started walking away, looking to run. I had about 2 miles to go, and I was used to running 6 miles every other day. I ran, thinking there was no way they would catch me. I was in great shape, and I had at least 100 yards between us. One of them screamed at me, and I thought they were coming for me. I was running at full speed now, thinking I had to make a left turn to go back into the campground. I was panicking, thinking that's where they would catch me. I said a prayer and asked God for help. I made the turn, and now I'm looking in the woods for any movement, and nothing happened. I made it to the campground and took a shower, had coffee, and told no one. I'm happy I knew nothing about Sasquatch, because if he wanted me, he could have got me in 5 seconds. Well, I got home and I told my parents what happened, and I was shocked that my mom also knew about these beings. My mom was from Texas, and she said they lived on her farm. My dad was from the Bronx, New York, and met my mom when he was in the Navy. He was stationed at Corpus Christi Navy Base. My life changed forever, and I started looking for them. I would find out that I made a bad choice. The next 16 years were filled with some good, but mostly scary and life-changing moments that were negative. In 2006, I stopped going into the woods, and although I lived 60 to 70 miles away from where I looked for them, they found me. I still see them a couple times a year till this day. Mostly at home, but they seem to show themselves to me at random times when I least expect it. This was mostly about my first encounter with a Sasquatch in 1990. From 1990 to 2004, I was growled at multiple times. I've had sticks, rocks, and pine cones thrown at me. I could hear them follow me, but could almost never see them, just shadows in the trees. They always ate my pork chops and walnuts I would leave them. I would go fishing at the pond and leave the fish for them. When I would fish, they would throw rocks in the water from multiple directions. Strange smells would be in my car when I left, like something stinky was inside my car. My car was always locked. They've even spoken in my head a couple times. The next visual encounter would be at the end of 2004, and it was not a Sasquatch. It was a werewolf creature that they call the Dog Man. On my second werewolf encounter, I was told not to come back, so I didn't. I was afraid something bad would happen. I did go out a couple of times in a different area 50 miles away from there. I just couldn't shake the fear of seeing them, so I stopped going out. That's when they started coming to my home. Till this day, it continues to happen. I have severe insomnia and I never sleep. I usually go out at 3 a.m. to do push-ups against my steps. That's usually when I see them at my home. That's my life so far. My name's John if you want to talk. Anytime after 7 p.m. I will tell you in detail about the werewolf encounters and what was spoken in my head. And I believe we're going to be talking to John on the next episode. So, take what you will from this, folks. There's a lot going on there, and hopefully we get to the bottom of it.
Wow.
Heavy. You know.
That was a lot. I can't.
It's something I've noticed too, though, with the especially folks that it's almost if they go looking, okay. And I've noticed this is a definite pattern. If they go looking, it starts to be more common. And I don't think it's someone had said to me a while back in the comments. It's just been months, but they said I think that somehow we're in tune to it. You know, it's like there's certain ones of us that can see it or that are in tune or you know, or we're open to it. And the more I read and the more I jot down and you know, make notes of, I don't think so. My thought is this, is if you're walking in the woods one day and you experience even 30% of what John has, say you saw the werewolf. Every time you're outside, won't you be looking for him?
Right.
And if you're always looking for it, don't you have a much higher possibility of finding it? You know what I mean?
Right.
If you've never seen anything like this and you're getting up in the morning, you're walking to your car to go to work, you're not looking for it. You're just walking to your car to go to work. But you're in the woods one day and you see an 8-foot tall hairy man staring at you from the wood line. Well, now every time you get up in the morning to go to your car, you're going to be looking for the big hairy man staring at you. I don't think it's so much that they're following you around. It's that you're more looking for them because you've seen. You know, the average person might walk right past.
It's kind of like if you buy a car.
Just about to say that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what. If you buy a red Toyota Corolla,
Yeah.
you start noticing all of the red Toyota Corollas.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's part of your life now.
Yeah.
So now you're super in tune to seeing it everywhere.
Absolutely.
And plus, I think it's more along the lines too, is that, like you were saying, like you're going to notice more. You're going to be looking, not thinking about it, but you're going to be looking. Like it's not. I don't think it's anything different. Like these beings would have done this if he didn't see them,
whether he saw him or not.
Like there was something probably about him or any of that thing, but he saw them, so now he's looking for them. Like they would have already been there if you didn't see them, and you wouldn't have looked for them. Yeah,
something I'd read recently. I know you guys out there, and I'm sure the guys here are going to be like, you know, what are you getting at here? I read a study where they figured out that beehives recognized the beekeeper. Yeah. They recognized the face of the beekeeper.
Yeah.
And over time, there's a trust. Oh, that's Bob the beekeeper. He's here to help us. So if a bee can recognize a face, what saying that a Sasquatch couldn't do it? You know?
Right.
If he's like, oh, that's the dude that saw us. Check us out. Watch this, guys. And he's just staring at him. And the dude's like, holy shit. You know what I mean? To me, it's like it's kind of a mean prank, but maybe to them it's a greeting. Maybe they're just letting him see them.
And another thing too is we're really
They're being polite.
I know I talk about my dog a lot on here, but that's the kind of stuff he does.
Yeah.
He will, when I come home, he'll stand in the far end of the house and stand and look at me as creepy as possible. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows he's doing it, but he absolutely is creepy as crap. Standing there staring at you with his head down, like looking through his eyebrows at you,
Yeah.
until you say his name and slap your leg, and then,
He's like, he
he's a
snaps
wiggle,
out of it.
He's a wiggle factory.
Yeah.
But that's how he waits, is to be creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's not sentient. He doesn't know what creepy is. That's just how
Right.
he is.
Yeah. I get that. What was it, last weekend we were here recording, and I went home, and I am absolutely not trying to make light of the email, okay? So please don't take it like this. I mean this. I went home, and usually we record well into the night, and we're all tired and we're ready to call it a night. It's over. I go home. There's no lights where I live. It's dark as hell. It's out in the woods. I love it. I don't like the light pollution. I like seeing the stars, And I pull into the driveway, and there's the biggest skunk I've ever seen in my life. I can testify to you guys that I think the skunk is everywhere now. And he is.
Right.
Now, my wife has seen him, my kids have seen him, and I've seen him since. And I'm just hoping that, we don't have any problems.
Right.
And
it's he didn't just show up.
No, he's been there.
He's been there.
I
It's
just now noticed him.
You just now noticed him.
Yeah. And that's
horrible.
horrible.
He was being a knot skunk in your driveway, wasn't he?
He was being a knot skunk. He was enormous. I have a little dog, and he's every bit as big as her. You know the dog I'm talking about. He's every bit as big as her. And I'm like, I just sat there. I'm like, I literally said it to myself. I called my wife, and I go, I guess I live in the car now. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, there is a gigantic skunk out here. And she's like, oh, God. She's like, oh, no, she don't want to come out of the house, So I'm like, and he just scurried off into the darkness. But I'm like, I don't know how far into the darkness he went. He could have just went a little bit. He's dark colored. He blends. All I'm saying is I wasn't looking for him before, but I'm sure he was there. And now I think he's everywhere. I'm dead. If he is in the car Monday morning when I go to work, it will not be a shock to me. But I've already warned the bosses that if I get sprayed, I'm calling off that day.
I'm just saying,
they told me, thank you.
Yeah. We would want you to. We would send you home.
I made kind of a cruel thing about it. I'm like, oh no. Work has to happen. I'm coming, skunk or not. I'll bring the skunk with me. We're delivering.
Put him in a hoodie. Give him a hat.
But I like how. But we're thinking this way too linear though. We always think that you were saying the Sasquatch stood up and he's like, hey, it's that guy that runs a lot. Mm-hmm. He does these weird ground things. He lays on the ground and gets up and down.
Yeah.
Watch this. And just starts staring at him.
What if it's their greeting?
But maybe it's not a greeting. Maybe they are dicks. Just like us.
Okay.
They're playing a practical... Just like we hoax people, why are we not saying that Sasquatch is above...
We don't hoax people, but humans hoax people.
Yeah, human. Yeah.
I was like, let's clarify that.
My bad. Yeah, the clarification on that. But you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point. I never thought of the possibility that Sasquatch was kind of an asshole.
They would fuck with us.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a good possibility.
We
if he's related to us in any way, he's got to have some. Yeah. So yeah.
There has to be some kind of there has to be at least one Sasquatch that
I mean, animals can be assholes.
Yeah.
In non-encrypted species.
Yeah.
Every species, there's at least one or two good stories of an asshole of that species.
That's true.
Talk to any farmer.
Oh yeah, I can confirm.
I can.
Yeah.
What was I just saw recently? I'm going to tie it to it because they're in a way linked. I watched a video of an ape in a zoo, and he was literally just going around smacking other monkeys in the like gorillas in the the face, like the back of the head, and then run away. And he'd be go back on the thing. He's like, and they would come after him, and he was like
So,
jumping around. Like
I get what you're saying. There's always that guy.
There's always that guy. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Right.
why are we always believing that Sasquatch is not above being a dick too?
So
That is true.
The Sasquatch could be a bro.
yeah.
You know?
Okay. I get. Yeah. This is actually. I think this is a valid point. I know. I'm I'm smiling. I'm laughing about it a little, but it never dawned on me. Like, hey, that is a good point. Is what if the Sasquatch can be a dick? There's plenty of evidence pointing at it, messing with people. We know the softer side of the stories. Where it helps a child, or it's nice to a person, or whatever. One of my favorites was the lady who was lost in the woods in pitch black, and the Sasquatch was pushing her towards her camp, laughing at her.
Yeah.
And I always thought, like, why was he laughing? And it made me think that, he was, look at this little human who can't see in the dark. She can't see what she's doing. Pretty funny. I think it works to. It works. I think it definitely worth adding to the book of the big guy.
Yeah.
The possibility that Sasquatch is kind of an a-hole,
Just a prick.
or at least some of
Like
them.
maybe that's why he's throwing rocks,
Yeah.
knocking on trees.
Yeah. I read an interesting.
It's the older ones, like doing the old "get off
Yo,
my lawn."
Get out of my head, man. I was
Dude, I've been here
literally
all night.
I was actually flipping through some literature scattered around the internet from Mr. Todd Standing,
Oh God.
and one of the things he said was that, and folks, you have to take Todd with I don't want to say a grain of salt. I think break out the shaker, because there's a lot of inconsistencies. But one of the things he said that I did find interesting was that there was multiple ones, and each one was assigned a role. And the one thing that him and several other researchers, I say that also very loosely, have agreed on is that there is certain ones that they consider a day watcher.
Yeah.
Someone who's kind of watching the area while the other ones are asleep. And I thought, it's not a terrible idea. You're in the area, they got sleeping family somewhere near. Maybe it's best to scare you off, or at least mess with you and get you creeped out. Get you to leave. But it's not something that really happens outside of humans.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. It is.
I mean, okay. So I've never been one to adamantly say Bigfoot is real.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, so I can't say for certain.
Right.
That's not my place on the show, anyways. I've always kind of been the skeptical side of things. But thinking of other animals, there's nothing else that does that, is there? Nothing else that's 800, 900 pounds, 400 pounds, the strength of 10 men can throw a tree.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, even if you startled one, what would you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but then again, like we always say, like how evasive these creatures are. Like they could literally run. You could chase after one, and then it would turn a corner and disappear.
yeah,
So why would it be concerned
yeah,
if it whatever found its den or something like that?
yeah. Plus, it's what are you gonna do if you find the den? It's not like you're gonna be able to pounce on them. What are you gonna do?
Ha!
Exactly.
Right.
You jump out and you yell ha, and then you got a whole pack of them beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, the kids are involved now.
Yeah, the
Most
more
confusing ass whooping of your life is what that is.
the more I read,
Get out of my cave.
there's so many different theories and different there's different opinions that are being thrown out as fact, and it's just it's a little irritating,
Yeah.
I like Meldrum's approach. Meldrum kind of like he takes like, okay, I got a real footprint, and that's where, for the most part, that's where Meldrum stops. I have a ton of respect for the man because of this. He doesn't sit there and give you like a paragraph theory about.
He doesn't speculate a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I have a footprint that's real.
Yeah.
And that's all I got. I can't tell you the behavior, can't tell you where, what sex it was. I'm just saying this is a real footprint. And people like try to drag it out of him over and over. They're
So
like,
is he?
yeah.
Is
So
he?
Sasquatch is definitely a North American, this is a phenomenon he's like, I have a footprint
That is real.
that's real. The weight, the compression, it all checks out. The dermal ridges, all this stuff. It's all there, and it's all checking out. The footprint is real. I just don't know about the thing attached to it.
Right.
So it's real?
See, and that's the thing is,
Yeah.
It's real?
I've seen photographs of footprints,
Yeah.
not from a Bigfoot hunter, not
Yeah.
from the internet, from friend of the family.
Yeah.
Here, look at this. What do you think of that?
Right.
And it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Is I saw a footprint.
What do you say? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of it.
There's a big dude who lost his shoes walking around here.
Yeah, and I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
So I can't look at a picture and go, that's a real footprint.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I saw a picture of something that looks like a real footprint.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
And I can tell you there's a lot of stories corroborated by people that probably shouldn't corroborate each other's stories
Yeah.
locally
Right.
about the said footprint and the sources. But I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So it's fall into that same category.
Right.
That's a footprint.
That's what I mean is we've got. Well,
It's a footprint.
how many years? If you go back to Lewis and Clark, then we've got a lot of years of sightings, right?
And then like the Native American stories.
Native American stories, Lewis and Clark.
Literally every culture.
Every culture in the world, all the way back, and it culminates to one scientist saying, "This is a real footprint." And then
He's like me. This is a real footprint.
This is our footprint.
this is our footprint.
That's if we ever get one casted, we need to open the episode.
Oh my God.
This is our footprint.
If I hope for the listeners involved and the viewers of the YouTube channel that we three never cast a footprint, because they're going to hear about that footprint for years. It'll be in every shot, every camera.
We're going to get it bronzed.
We'll have it bronzed. We'll have little miniatures made and wear it as little necklaces. Recently, scientists did discover a new hominid. They found a fossilized footprint in the side of stone. A large footprint that they are convinced is a hominid species. There was some speculation that it might have been human, but the scale is way too big.
Where was this at?
This, I want to say, was somewhere Asia.
That's where Gigantopithecus is from,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So if they can link it to Gigantopithecus, it'll teach us a lot more about it.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, all we know for sure is that it was in the orangutan family.
We don't have that much about Gigantopithecus.
A jawbone.
Yeah, well, that's.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Meldrum is the one that has that.
Yeah, I believe
Because
so.
he did a 3D print of the actual skull where half the jawbone's connected to.
Yeah, he did. There was a lot of what do you call it? He was taking other species and basing it the size of the jawbone off
especially the crest.
Yeah, the crested head for the muscle attachment.
Well, all of the artist renderings of Gigantopithecus are based on orangutan.
Yeah.
the long hair on the arms and everything.
Right.
And they always make him standing up. And a lot of the speculation is they're just doing that to show how big he was, that most likely he was an all four walker that could stand up.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't they say like the renderings too? They don't think that he was actually standing up. Those are like he was walking on all two, like he wasn't bipedal. He was actually in the leg length too.
Yeah, that's something that we don't know yet either.
And they used orangutan proportions based on the jawbone to design it. So I mean, but that, I mean, that's
wasn't the jawbone itself like looked. I mean, I think isn't that how they linked them?
Yeah,
was the jawbones were so similar?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Every step of the way on the big guy is interesting to me because there's so many avenues. Almost too many.
I'm just like, there's too many avenues, but I feel like you're like, you hit the head of the nail the last time, like, and every time we talk about it, in every era of us, we had another hominid that was right next to us, but this is the only time we haven't.
Yeah.
So allegedly.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I keep going back to that, and that sounds so right. Like, why wouldn't it? What is it because of how industrious that we are now that nothing else came up with us? But how long has this been going on when it's just we just think that it's just us?
Well,
like when's the last?
When we say us, though, there's still a gigantic part of Neanderthalis still in us.
Oh yeah, I remember. We talked about that.
So we can't say that we're all together. New. We have that. We have them and several others in our history, but it is odd that this is the one time that we we walk alone, basically.
And the bad thing too is, and we were talking about earlier, like moving further to years to come. After a while, like this gene pool is just going to get stagnant.
Oh yeah.
And
without new mutation, there's no hope.
There's no hope.
But hey, the good news is that almost all species that ever live on Earth live for about 1 million years before they putter out for good.
But we're so fragile. So fragile.
Well,
out of all of them, I think we're the only reason why we survived as long as we did is because of our. I hate to say it.
We haven't survived very long at all.
Well, I'm just saying for the time that we are, that's what I'm saying is the only reason why we've survived as long as we have is our
dumb luck.
And we invent something to help us combat it.
Dave and I were actually talking today, and he was talking about the fact that, and Dave was a prior guest on the show, that if the span of the Earth's time, as anybody knows it, was a 24-hour day, the span of human life is less than a second.
Yep.
We're just a blip.
Yeah, we're a lot more self-important than,
like 90-something% of all animals that have ever lived are extinct.
Yeah, fossilization is a rare thing. It's not something that happens a lot. I know I've said that before too, but I try to stress that how many things have lived and died.
And primate bones especially do not fossilize well at all.
Yeah.
That's one reason why the jaw of a Gigantopithecus was such a big deal.
Yeah. Right. So
I did not know that. Thank you.
It's literally there's so many links that are indeed missing that we're never going to find.
They've dissolved. They turn back into the earth.
I think our best chance of finding any of these is we can hope that in the ice in Siberia or Antarctica something is found, because otherwise it's a crapshoot. Yeah.
Yep.
But we can still keep looking, and that's what we'll do. Fellas, I think we should wrap this one up and get on to the next. We got a guest to call, and I know these folks are going to be wanting to hear his story next week.
Yep, absolutely.
So you guys out there, I don't know. I hope we gave you something to think about this week. Hope we're going to make your day better. Hopefully, weren't too much of a downer. I feel like some of our topics we get a little heavy into it, but hey, that's what the show's for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
keep commenting.
Absolutely.
Keep commenting. Even if it gets deleted, comment again. If it gets deleted, comment again, or send an email.
Yeah, send an email. Yeah, that's the only way that it would actually get to us.
Yeah, we've got several of them out there that are just, the comments are gone. They're missing. We can't read them if they're not there.
Yeah, they still say that the counter's there.
Yeah.
Like it says that there's 14, but there's only 12 comments.
yeah. And we have proof that the podcast voice messaging system does work.
It's fantastic.
That's confirmed. So don't hesitate. You can send us a voice message right from your phone, straight to it. You can find the link on our Facebook. You can find the link on our YouTube.
What's that through?
That is through Anchor.
Anchor.
And thank you to the Anchor guys for making that possible for us. So you guys take care of each other. And we'll see you next time.